I'm gonna show you how to make a song that good with just free VSTs like Toby Fox would. If you just have FL Studio, you can do exactly what I do here. So how do you make a song like Toby Fox? Well, first, you should basically compile a list of all the free instruments you're going to be using. They're mostly sound fonts in the SF2 file, so you can just drag them to your channel ramp. So you googled a bunch of sound fonts. I recommend the Undertale sound font, the Megalovania sound font, the Big Shot sound font, and the SGM sound font mainly. Okay, it's been 30 seconds. How the fuck do we get the melody? I can curse now. So I don't really place notes exactly on like the little lines all the time. I do that a lot as like a starting tool, but after that I usually just don't do that because it's better rhythm. So what I do is just hold Alt and then place notes, and I can just do this. So I just created a main melody. Let's see what it sounds like. So whenever you're placing melodies, you want a vibe to go for. So when I went into the song, I was thinking, I want the tone of the boss you fight right before the final boss, but not quite the final boss. Something that's climactic, edgy, and exciting, but not something that gives you this is the end of your journey vibes. I'm thinking like Intasma from Mario and Luigi Dream Team. For that classic Toby Fox sound, I decided to layer my instrument too. Now I want to talk about why Toby Fox using free sounds is mostly to his advantage. So he uses stuff like NES VST and sound fonts that basically replicate old video game sounds. And these sounds basically give his listeners like a lot of nostalgia when they listen to it, so it just feels familiar and it makes his songs more catchy. I added some long background notes to the song. I don't end up keeping this instrument, but I do end up keeping these notes. So as what was essentially a counter melody, I added this piano. After adding the drums, I could now fully see the vision I was going for with this song. So I decided to copy the song structure from Black Knight from Toby Fox. And you're gonna become very familiar with my favorite drum plugin very soon, because it's also a free drum plugin. Yeah, that's more like it. In my opinion, it already sounds quite good, but we can make it sound even better. So stay tuned to the end. I decided to layer the counter melody with a guitar and raise the volume with Fruity Limiter. Mind you, this is the second time I've even touched the mixer tracks. I went back and replaced those long notes with choir sounds, which sounded better, but it isn't quite entertaining. What is entertaining though is the Appregio I added. Let me go to Dynamics Limiter. I can barely see it, man. I basically got that Appregio just by spamming notes on every line, so you can just do that. Another way to do it is to just make some chords and then use Alt plus A to get an Appregio. Bro, there's no fucking way. So basically that's just a distorted Spamton voice sample being played over and over again, and I feel like it gave that song that unique Toby Fox edge I was looking for. Now it was time for the low energy part of the song. If the song was constantly in chorus, high octane, it would be hard to listen to, but with those break sections, it makes the rest of the song more memorable and gives you a break. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, now, meet Vital. I'm gonna load up a preset I made because it fits surprisingly well into the situation. So what you just heard there was just a basic saw, but there was a high pass filter over it that reduced a lot of that acidic vibe to it. Like imagine going from carbonated soda to drinking water. That's basically what I just did to that sound. So basically, bro, I just looped that melody twice. You don't have to constantly come up with new melodies like a fucking FNF song. It's better to just repeat some shit because it's more memorable and it's less effort. You're making a better song for less effort. Now with the knowledge that this is a structure based off of Black Knife, do you want to guess what comes next? Comment below what you think comes next before watching the next part of this video. But anyway, we just repeat the same melody again. So I mean, yeah, we put some shit in a higher octave, We added back some old instruments, but was any new melody created for like a whole like 40% of the song? I wouldn't say so. See, that's like the difference between like you and Toby Fox. You're spamming notes with like constant melodies like a fucking run-on sentence instead of using melodic phrases like Toby Fox does. This is a sentence with a period at the end. You're just making run-off sentences. This is why Toby Fox has the BBC and they're stuck with a 2-inch wiener. Of course, it's not like my song is really as good as most Toby Fox songs, but this is like the blueprint for what he does, you know? Now, I'd say the last part of this is more optional, but I basically just brought back the section at the beginning again because Big Shot basically does this exact same structure. Like, the stuff you hear at the beginning, it's brought back at the end, but with some variants so that you don't get tired of the song. So you retain all of that memorability, all that repetition, but you don't get tired of the song. That's why it's so memorable. Now, before I show you the final product, I just want to say that like the full uncut footage of me making the song, which was only an hour and a half, is in the description, and you do have to pay for it, but it's only $2, and with that, it's also the FLP that came with it. So you get the project I made itself and the footage of me making the song in its entirety, so you get to learn more about making melodies, because I can't show all that on YouTube and have people actually watch it. Also consider that I'm a greedy fuck. So, you know, that's the whole song. If you liked this video and want more of this stuff in the future, consider liking and subscribing. And I have a Patreon in the description if you want to support me and get stuff early. And I mean, that's about it.